biodiversity that provides ecological services that can be utilised by humans. However, when humans take advantage of this too often, irreversible damage can result in numerous consequences. Today, we are focusing on mangroves in southeast Queensland and their significance in Australia's biodiversity and the importance of mangrove conservation. Mangroves typically grow between the land and sea, primarily in tropical and subtropical climates, where it is of high salinity, extreme tides, and high temperatures. They are an extremely diverse organism, being highly developed and well adapted to the extreme conditions they reside in. Their unique ecological presence allows them to host a rich abundance of species, making them an integral contributor to their ecological community. Their muddy and sandy environment inhibits a wide range of epibenthic, infaunal, and meiofaunal invertebrates.
Oh hey! Did you know if you were to scoop up 1 teaspoon of mud from a mangrove forest and look at it under a very strong microscope, you'd find that it contains more than 10 billion bacteria. Not only that, they hold a support of communities including phytoplankton, zooplankton, and fish.
Anyway, mangroves also act like a mother to juvenile fish that nurse there until adulthood, when they'll move on to other marine habitats. Their physiological makeup enables them to be surrounded by loose sediments, creating a small island around them, which other organisms can then reside in, including bacteria, fungi, microalgae, and invertebrates. The entire mangrove is also used by other organisms, for example crabs, insects, and reptiles. Not only the mangrove, but also surrounding ecological communities such as birds and mammals directly influence the species that live in a mangrove community.
But they perform another function where they're the coastal protection, so from erosion, from potential tsunamis, other impacts that can come in there, but they're incredibly important for that diversity. Birds, spiders, all sorts of different species use those mangrove areas.
Although mangroves are extremely diverse organisms, the surrounding species contribute to its uniqueness and thrive based on their own input. For this reason, all mangroves are protected under the Queensland Fisheries Act, right down to its leaves. All marine activities that involve mangroves require a permit from the Queensland Department of Primary Industry. In fact, any unauthorised disturbances can result in harsh penalties. Due to the sheer necessity of mangroves in an ecological community, it is paramount that they are protected and not destroyed for visual and construction purposes. One of the main threats to mangrove forests is coastal development. For example, in Moreton Bay, southeast Queensland, an estimated 20% of the pre-European mangrove community has been cleared for reclamation landfill.
The other main threat to mangroves is actually climate change and sea level rise. So we're seeing in certain areas where the sea level rises, it's pushing the mangroves further inshore to deal with that sea level rise, and often in spaces where there's urban development there's not that area to move up to. So I'd say that climate change is probably the biggest threat. So you take out an area of mangroves, you're obviously going to lose that primary productivity that's going out into the system. So potentially it can impact regionally on the values of those areas, to the biodiversity.
Currently, there are conservation efforts, mostly overseas, to increase mangrove populations through the planting of specific species. Australia also has lots of research into mangroves and their conservation. The Australian government has allowed 7% of research funding to go towards marine science and technology. Some of this has gone to developing research sites and boardwalks in mangrove ecosystems to accommodate research and education. Here in southeast Queensland, we're lucky to have an abundance of mangrove forests, so it's important that we educate the public on protecting and conserving these diverse ecosystems. Marine biodiversity depends on mangroves, and so do we. See you next time!